Okay. It says it's preparing to go live. I was determined to be on time today after last week's debacle. But as always, we never know. And it looks like I actually am live. Hello. Welcome to Tea and New Book Tuesday. I'm Lisa. I will be your librarian. I was thinking our 1-year anniversary for Tea and New Book Tuesday is actually August 11th. Though I don't think anybody was watching those first few because I was just using my phone and pointing at little printouts of the covers. I had to figure it out. You got to figure these things out. Anyway, but I think we should have a special episode for that. I don't know. If you have any ideas, put them in the comments below. But I'm already kind of thinking maybe it will be an all giveaway episode, or maybe there'll definitely be prizes. There'll be lots and lots of giveaways and prizes because that's always a good time. It's what we like. All right. As always, Tea and New Book Tuesday is your glimpse at the books Mobile Public Library has pre-ordered. For today's episode, it's pre-ordered in August or coming out in August. And these books are romance and historical fiction. We're going to continue to do the giveaway the way that we have done it. So I have a ridiculous pile of books next to me. I mean, it's absurd. I found 3 historical fictions that are they're pretty new. I think they're all coming out in one's April, one's June, and one's August. So all this year, all this late spring, early summer, late summer. But then I also found a ton of biographies and autobiographies in my nonfiction. And I thought, well, why not? I'll just, whatever you guys want, you guys get. So that might be the chime telling me that I'm live. Yes, that's what that is. Okay. So I'm going to give you longer descriptions of the 3 historical fiction novels. And then shorter descriptions on the biographies, because literally, no joke, the autobiography, this is the pile. So we don't need to be here all day. But as always, in the comments below, put the name of the book you would like and the MPO location you would prefer for pickup. I need both. I will send it out to the first person who claims that title. And everybody gets... Normally I say everybody gets 1 book, but actually I'm going to restrict the historical fiction because I only have the 3 and those are very new hot titles to first come, first serve. But if you either want one of those and a biography or an autobiography, you can put both in there. If you want 2 biographies or autobiographies, go ahead. I think 1 or 2 of them might get snatched up right away, but the rest of them, they need the specific person who's interested in what this person's life was about. So if that person is you, don't worry about when you're putting on the comment. Just go ahead and tell me you want it, and I will send it and your MPL location for pickup so I can send it to that location and you can pick it up. All right. So starting off with the historical fiction novels, let's start with the oldest, or the one that came out in April. All the Children Are Home by Patry Francis, the author of The Orphans of Race Point. So this is set in the late 1950s through 1960s in a small town in Massachusetts. See it? Yeah, you see it? We can see it? Okay. All the Children Are Home follows the Muscaletti family, foster parents Dahlia and Louise, and their long-term foster children, Jimmy, Zadie, and John, and the irrevocable changes in their lives when a 6-year-old Indigenous girl, Agnes, comes to live with them. When Dahlia decided to become a foster mother, she had a few caveats. No howling newborns, no delinquents, and above all, no girls. A harrowing incident years before left her a virtual prisoner in her own home, forever wary of the heartbreak and limitation of a girl's life. 11 years after they begin fostering, the Moscheettis are raising 3 children as their own, and Dahlia and Louis consider their family complete. But when the social worker begs them to take a young girl who's been horrifically abused and neglected, they can't say no. 6-year-old Agnes Juniper arrives with no knowledge of herself nor her Native American heritage beyond a box of trinkets her mother once gave her and dreamlike memories of a sister. Before long, this stranger in the Moschietti midst has strengthened the bond in this unusual family, showing them how to contend with outside forces that want to tear them apart. Heartfelt and enthralling, All the Children Are Home is a moving testament to how love can survive in the face of devastating loss. So that's All the Children Are Home. Next up, we have a book that came out in June 22nd, The Secret of Jaipur, a novel by Alka Joshi. So this is set in 1969, and Malik has finished his private school education. At 20, he has just met a young tribal woman, Nimi, when he leaves to begin an apprenticeship at the palace facilities in Jaipur, the royals' latest project, a state-of-the-art cinema. Malik soon finds that not much has changed as he navigates the pink city of his childhood. Power and money still move seamlessly among the wealthy class, and favors flow from Jaipur's royal palace, but only if certain secrets remain buried. When the cinema's balcony tragically collapses on opening night, blame is placed where it is convenient. Malik suspects something far darker and sets out to uncover the truth. As a young street urchin, he always knew to keep his own counsel. It's a lesson that still serves him well, but it is only when Lakshmi, the real keeper of Jaipur's secrets, intervenes that things that can begin to truly right themselves. So that's The Secret Keeper of Jaipur. This one would have been on my list today for us to discuss, but I have a copy to give away. So let's talk about it when we're going to give it away. Damnation Spring by Ash Davidson. I'm trying to read backwards off the screen. Okay. So this is a debut novel, meaning this writer, Ash Davidson, this is his first novel, or hers, I don't know. So this is an epic, immersive debut with a deeply human story of a Pacific Northwest logging town and the threats that could derail its way of life. For generations, Rick Gunderson's family has chopped a livelihood out of the redwood forest along California's rugged coast. Now Rich and his wife Colleen are raising their son near Damnation Grove, a swath of ancient redwoods on which Rich's employer, Sanderson Timber Company, plans to make a killing. In 1977, with most of the forest declared or protected, a grove like Damnation, and beyond it, 24/7 Ridge, is a logger's dream. But logging is dangerous work, and Rich wants better for his son, Chub. So when the opportunity arises to buy 24/7 Ridge, costing them all the savings they've squirreled away for their growing family, he grabs it, unbeknownst to Colleen. Because the reality is that their family isn't growing. Colleen has lost several pregnancies, and she isn't alone. As a midwife, Colleen has seen the suffering of other women with her own eyes. For decades, the herbicides the logging company uses were considered harmless. But what if these miscarriages aren't isolated strokes of bad luck? As mudslides take out clear-cut hillsides and salmons vanish from creeks, Colleen's search for answer threatens to unravel not just Rich's plans for the 24/7, but their marriage too, dividing a town that lives and dies on the timber along the way. In prose as clear as a spring-fed creek, this intimate, compassionate portrait of a community clinging to a vanishing way of life amid the perils of environmental degradation is an essential novel for our time. So this doesn't come out until August 3rd, but you could have it in your hands. I mean, if you want to pick it up from Maine, you could have it in your hands today, if you're the first person to ask for it. Okay, now the autobiographies and biographies. Again, we're going to have to go through these relatively quickly. But if you want any of them, don't hesitate to ask, because as I said, big pile. All right. Good Husbandry, Growing Food, Love, and Family on Essex Farm. So Kristen Krimball is the author of the bestseller, The Dirty Life, which is a beguiling memoir about the simple life. And here she describes the delicious highs and sometimes excruciating lows of life on Essex Farm, a 500-acre farm that feeds a community of 250 people. So that's Good Husbandry. It's Not Dark Yet, which is by Simon Fitzmaurice, which is a memoir in the tradition of The Diving Bell and the Butterfly and My Left Foot, and the #1 bestseller upon its release in Ireland. A young filmmaker diagnosed with ALS gives us a story of courage, of heart, of coming home for more, of love, and the struggle and power of both. So that's It's Not Dark Yet. It's not yet dark. It's not yet dark. All right. The Day That Went Missing, a family story by Richard Beard. Okay. This is also from overseas. I think this one's actually from the UK and not from Ireland. But on family summer vacation in Cornwall in 1978, Richard and his younger brother Nicholas were jumping in the waves. Suddenly, Nicholas is out of his depth. 1 minute he's there, the next minute he's gone. So that's The Day That Went Missing. It says Everything is Fine by Vince Granata. In this extraordinary moving memoir about grief, mental illness, and the bonds of family, a writer delves into the tragedy of his mother's violent death at the hands of his brother, who struggled with schizophrenia. Perfect for the fans of An Unquiet Mind and The Bright Hour. And that's Everything is Fine. This, I think, looks interesting just because it's such an unusual story. The Compton Cowboys. The new generation of cowboys in America's urban heartland. Apparently, there is a ranch in Compton that has managed to survive despite having been rural when it was built and developed, and definitely not being rural anymore. But this is the rising New York Times reporter tells the compelling story of the Compton Cowboys, a group of African-American men and women who defy stereotypes and continue the proud centuries-old tradition of Black cowboys in the heart of one of America's most notorious cities. That's that. I don't even think I'm going to get into describing this one because it's pretty much just you want to read about her life or you don't. This is Antonia Felix's biography of Elizabeth Warren, her fight, her work, her life. And Nowhere Girl, a memoir of a fugitive childhood. At the age of 9, I will have lived in more than a dozen countries, on 5 continents, under 6 assumed identities. I'll know how a document is forged, how to withstand an interrogation, and more importantly, how to disappear. So that's Nowhere Girl. And just in case you joined us late, if you want any of those, either the historical fiction or the autobiography or the biographies, put the name in the comments below with your MPL location for pickup. I will start sending things out right after the show ends, pretty much. Oh, today I'm drinking my winter spice because I decided to go without caffeine so that I can sleep better. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the titles that are upcoming. Where are we? There we are. That are coming to MPL in August, which is the whole idea of the show. That's the plan. That's what we're here for. We're here for Tea and New Book Tuesday. Okay. We had our giveaway. Now we're ready for romance and historical fiction. So let's start with romance. Yeah, there we go. Starting with For the Love of Friends by Sarah Goodman Confino, I think, which comes out August 1st. It's described as a sharp and hilariously relatable novel about the business of weddings, the toll they can take, and the lengths one exasperated bridesmaid will go to for the love of friends. Lily Weiss is her mother's worst nightmare, 32 and single, the horror. She's also a talented writer, but hides behind a boring job at a science foundation. To her friends, she's reliable and selfless, which is how she winds up a bridesmaid in 5 weddings in 6 weeks. Anything for her 3 best friends and 2 younger siblings, right? Even if her own life is, well, she'd rather not talk about it. To keep her sanity, Lily needs a safe place to vent. So her anonymous blog, Bridesmania, is born. The posts start pouring out of her, all the feels about momzillas, her vanishing bank balance, the wicked bridesmaids of the West, high-strung brides-to-be, body-shaming dress clerks, bachelorette parties, and spanks for days. Not to mention being deemed guardian of an 88-year-old granny who enjoys morning mimosas in the nude for her brother's destination wedding. So far, the blog has stayed anonymous, but as everyone knows, few things online remain secret forever. When all is said and done, can Lily help all 5 couples make it to the happily ever after? And will her own happy ending be close behind? So if you're interested in For the Love of Friends, it comes out August 1st. All right, moving on to Miss Latimore's Letter by Susan Allain. Okay, the woman who never made a match of her own is making matches for everyone else in this hilarious comedy of manners from the author of Mr. Malcolm's List. Sophie Latmore had her romantic dreams destroyed years ago and is resigned to her role as chaperone for her cousin. Still, she cannot sit idly by when she becomes aware that a gentleman is about to propose to the wrong woman. She sends him an anonymous letter that is soon the talk of the town, particularly when her advice proves to be correct. Her identity is discovered, and Sophie, formerly a wallflower, becomes sought after for her expert matchmaking skills. One person who seeks her out is the eligible and attractive Sir Edmund Winslow. As Sophie assists Sir Edmund in his pursuit of a wife, she wishes she could recommend herself as a bride. However, she vows to remain professional and uninvolved while aiding him in his search, especially since the gentleman surely does not return her affections. 3 unexpected arrivals soon show up at Sophie's door: the man who once broke her heart, a newlywed who is dissatisfied with the match Sophie made for her, and the man madly in love with Sophie's cousin, all wanting her attention. But when her one-time beau and Sir Edmund both appear to be interested in her, Sophie can't figure out if she's headed for another broken heart or for the altar. How can she be expected to help with other people sort out their romantic lives when her own is such a disaster? This got a starred review from Library Journal. So if you're interested in Miss Latmore's Letter, it comes out August 10th. Battle Royal by Lucy Parker. Let me get a little bit of tea. Beloved author Lucy Parker pens a delicious new romantic comedy that is a battle of whisks and wits. 4 years ago, Sylvie Fairchild charmed the world as a contestant on the hit baking show Operation Cake. Her ingenious, colorful creations captivated viewers and intrigued all but one of the judges, Dominique Devere, the hottest pastry chef in London. When her glittery unicorn cake went spectacularly sideways, Dominique was quick to vote her off the show. Since then, Sylvie has managed to use her fame to help fulfill her dream of opening a bakery, Sugar Fair. The toast of Instagram, Sugar Fair has captured the attention of the Operation Cake producers and a princess. Dominique is His Majesty the King's favorite baker, the go-to for sweet-toothed A-list celebrities, and a veritable British institution. He's brilliant, talented, and hardworking, and an icy, starchy grouch. Learning that the irksome Sylvie will be joining him on the Operation Cake judging panel is enough to make the famously dour baker even more grim. Her fantastical baking is only slightly more troublesome than the fact that he can't stop thinking about her pink-streaked hair and irresistible dimple. When Dominique and Sylvie learn that they will be fighting for the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bake a cake for the upcoming wedding of Princess Rose, the flower begins to fly as they've both determined to come out on top. The bride adores Sylvie's quirky style. The palace wants Dominique's classic perfection. In this battle royal, can there be room for 2? This got starred reviews from both Kirkus and from Booklist, so comes very highly recommended. If you're interested in the battle royal, it comes out August 17th. Okay, more royal romance in The Royals Next Door by Karina Hale. An ordinary summer goes royally awry when a prince and his princess move next door, bringing their handsome bodyguard with them. From New York Times bestselling author Karina Hale. Piper Evans, elementary school teacher by day, avid romance reader and anonymous podcaster by night. She lives a quiet, reclusive life, taking care of her mother, who struggles with mental illness, avoiding her regrettable ex, who bartends in town, and trying to make inroads in the tight-knit island community that still sees her 5 years in as an outsider. And she's happy with how things are, really, until British royals rent the property next to hers and their brooding bodyguard decides she's a security threat. Piper quickly realizes that one person's fairy tale is an ordinary woman's nightmare as a media frenzy takes over the island, and each run-in with Harrison Cole is hotter and more confusing than the last. But beneath Harrison's no-nonsense exterior lies a soft heart, one that could tempt a woman who's sworn off attachments into believing in white knights. But when Piper finds herself smack in the middle of royal scandal that rocks the island, she'll need more than Harrison's strong arms to shield her. She'll have to do a little rescuing herself. With careers, hearts, and friendships on the line, Piper and Harrison will have to decide what they're willing to give up for a chance at their own happily ever after. This ended up on, I visit a website pretty frequently called Pop Sugar. I like their recipes and I like their articles. This ended up on their list of the best summer reads. So if you're interested in The Royals Next Door, it comes out August 31st. All right, moving on to historical fiction. We already talked about Damnation Spring, which I have for a giveaway and is about logging in the 70s. Yep, 1977. If you don't end up being the person who gets Damnation Spring, but you're interested in it, it is coming out August 3rd. Moving on to Sisters in Arms, a novel of the daring Black women who served during World War II by Kaya Alderson. Yeah, Alderson. Okay. Kaya Alderson's debut historical fiction novel reveals the untold true story of the 688, the only all-Black battalion of the Army, of the Women's Army Corps. There's going to be a lot of names like that in here, and I'm going to struggle with them. Just giving you fair warning on that. So, okay, this group made the dangerous voyage to Europe to ensure American servicemen received word from their loved ones during World War II. Grace Steele and Eliza Jones may be from completely different backgrounds, but when it comes to the Army, specifically the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, they are both starting at the same level. Not only will they be among the first class of female officers the Army has ever seen, they are also the first Black women allowed to serve. As these courageous women help to form the 688th Central Postal Directory Battalion, they are dealing with more than just Army bureaucracy. Everyone is determined to see this experiment fail. For two Northern women, learning to navigate their way through the segregated Army may be tougher than boot camp. Grace and Eliza know that there is no room for error. They must be more perfect than everyone else. When they finally make it overseas to England and then France, Grace and Eliza will at last be able to do their parts for the country they love, whatever the risk to themselves. Based on the true story of the 688 Postal Battalion, Sisters in Arms explores the untold story of what life was like for the only all-Black female U.S. battalion to be deployed overseas during World War II. This got a starred review from Booklist. If you're interested in Sisters in Arms, it comes out August 3rd. All right, At Summer's End by Courtney Ellis. This is set after World War I. Okay. When an ambitious female artist accepts an unexpected commission at a powerful Earl's country estate in 1920s England, she finds his war-torn family crumbling under the weight of long-kept secrets. From debut author Courtney Ellis comes a captivating novel about finding the courage to heal after the ravages of war. Alberta Preston accepts the commission of a lifetime when she receives an invitation from the Earl of Wakeford to spend a summer painting at his lordship's country house, Castle Braemore. Bertie imagines her residence at the prodigious estate will finally enable her to embark on a professional career and prove her worth as an artist, regardless of her gender. Upon her arrival, however, Bertie finds the opulent Braemore and its inhabitants diminished by the Great War. The Earl has been living in isolation since returning from the trenches, locked away in his rooms and hiding battle scars behind a prosthetic mask. While his younger siblings eagerly welcome Bertie into their world, she soon sees chips in the world's gilded facade. As she and the Earl develop an unexpected bond, Bertie becomes deeply entangled in the pain and secrets she discovers hidden within Castle Braemore and the hearts of its residents. Threaded with hope, love, and loss, At Summer's End delivers a portrait of a noble family and a world changed forever by the war to end all wars. It gives me very Downton Abbey vibes. So if you're interested in At Summer's End, it comes out August 10th. The Light of Luna Park by Addison Armstrong. This is considered to be in the spirit of the Orphan Train, and Before We Were Yours. This is also a debut novel. New York, 1926. Nurse Althea Anderson's heart is near breaking when she witnesses another premature baby die at Bellevue Hospital. So when she reads an article detailing the amazing survival rates of babies treated in incubators in an exhibit at Luna Park, Coney Island, it feels like the miracle she's been searching for. But the doctors at Bellevue dismiss Althea and this unconventional medicine, forcing her to make a choice between a baby's life and the doctor's wishes that will change everything. 25 years later, Stella is falling apart. Her mother has just passed. She quit a job she loves, and her marriage is struggling. Then she discovers a letter that brings into question everything she knew about her mother and everything she knows about herself. The Light of Luna Park is a tale of courage and an ode to the sacrificial love of mothers. So if you're interested in The Light of Luna Park, that comes out August 10th. Ramadan Ramsey by Lewis Edwards. Lewis Edwards is a Guggenheim and Whitney Award winner and hasn't written anything in a while, so there's a lot of anticipation about this one. Ramadan Ramsey is the improbable love story between Alicia Ramsey, a ninth-generation New Orleans African-American, and Mustafa Tata, a Syrian refugee in the city's Ninth Ward. Through a series of familial betrayals, Mustafa returns to Syria unaware that Alicia is carrying his child. When the baby is born, Alicia names their son Ramadan and raises him with the help of her mother, Mama June. But tragedy strikes when Hurricane Katrina barrels into New Orleans, shattering the Ramsey family. Years later, when Ramadan turns 17, he sets off to find Mustafa. It is an odyssey filled with heartbreaking and brilliant adventures that takes the young man from the familiar world of Nola to Egypt, Istanbul, and finally Syria, where he hopes to reunite with a father he has never known. Beautiful, atmospheric, emotionally rich, this compelling novel offers a fresh perspective on the immigrant experience and what it means to feel homeless in one's own homeland. Ramadan Ramsey is a reminder of Lewis Edwards' immense talent and fearless storytelling, and is a welcome return of this literary light. This got a star review in Publishers Weekly. If you're interested in Ramadan Ramsey, it comes out August 10th. All right, our final book of the day is a very historical fiction. As in, it takes place a very long time ago. It's called The Women of Troy by Pat Barker. So Barker also wrote the best-selling, critically acclaimed The Silence of Girls, in case you remember that book. In this book, Troy has fallen. The Greeks have won their bitter war. They can return home victors loaded with their spoils. Their stolen gold, stolen weapons, stolen women. All they need is a good wind to lift their sails. But the wind does not come. The gods have been offended. The body of Priam lies desecrated, unburied, and so the victors remain in limbo, camped in the shadow of the city they destroyed, pacing at the edge of an unobliging sea. And in these empty, restless days, the hierarchies that held them together begin to fray. Old fuels resurface and new suspicions fester. Largely unnoticed by their squabbling captors, Briseis remains in the Greek encampment. She forges alliances where she can, with young, dangerously naive Amina, with defiant, aged Hecuba, and Caltheus, a disgraced priest, and begins to see the path to a kind of revenge. Briseis has survived the Trojan War, but peacetime may turn out to be even more dangerous. This got a star review from both Publishers Weekly and Kirkus. If you're interested in the Women of Troy, it comes out August 24th. All right, don't forget to pick out a book and put it in the comments so you can get a free book. I want the title and the MPL location for pickup in order for me to send it, and I'll start sending them out like in 10 minutes. And I forgot to mention this at the top again. I already have up a discussion board post on our Goodreads group that will tell you the books that I wasn't able to fit into today's show. I was actually able to fit it into a discussion post this time. I wasn't last time, as I told you. But if you want to read that, go to Goodreads. Our newsletter went out at 11 o'clock. If you want to subscribe to it, you click on the link in the description. Next week, we are going to go over August's science fiction, fantasy, and horror. So my favorite. I think some of your favorite as well. So I will see you next Tuesday. All right. Bye, guys.